You want me to go?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So Dylan Smith, Bismarck, and Jacques van Rooyen. Then Jacques du Plessis and Reinhard Ludwig. And then Nazam Carr, Miller Ace, and V.A. Steenkamp will be in the forwards. And then we got Bernard van der Linde, Morne Steyn, Marco Jansen van Vieren, 12, Stedman Gans 13, Stravino left wing, Navuka right wing, and Similani fullback. That's the starting group. And then on the bench we've got a couple of, got Sebastian Lombard at tight head, we've got Jan Hendrik Wessels at hooker, Lizo on loose head. Reserve lock is Janku Swanepoel. Pumzile is a reserve loose forward. And then we have Keegan Johannes, Chris Smith, as in Baron Smith, not Chris Smith. And then Johan Mostert.
With a team like this, obviously it's a totally different, totally new team. But with the names in that team, you can't call it a B team.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, and to be fair, we've worked a long time for them to get a game. You know, it worked out not because it's Lyon, not because it's European Cup. It worked out this was the weekend we can give them some game time with a month that we have or the 6 weeks we have. And we've been preparing this team for a while now. So it's not automatically that they just got told this week they're going to be playing. So there's a mixture there of 3 Springboks. Nazam, Morne and Bismarck have been Springboks. You know, we know how good Bismarck has been, what he's won. We know what Morne's won. And Nazam has played in Europe, so he understands it. And then there's probably 5 or 6 guys won the Currie Cup that are playing there. And then there's 2 or 3 guys. Well, in fact, there are 2 guys that have played in 3 Super Rugby finals. You know, you got Jacques and Dylan have played in Super Rugby finals. So, yeah, there's a nice balance between what we experience and also some young guys getting a chance, like Bernard van der Linde, like Sebastian Lombard. So I mean, and I don't want to say Navuka's young because he's relatively old. He's just also been out for a while, gets another chance on the wing.
And just a word on Jacques du Plessis. Nice to see him in good shape and ready.
Yeah, so Jacques, I mean, I as I said to you, the medical staff and the conditioning staff to work really hard on him. We probably could have had him out there earlier. I'm talking about a couple of weeks ago, but we just felt, with Walt who was finishing up, we needed to use Walt because I felt that it gave us time to get Jacques into good shape. And you saw him now. I mean, he's looking good. And he's injury free, which is the first time in a long time that he doesn't walk with a limp after training. So yeah, I mean, it'll be hard for him, it'll be difficult for him. I think him first time out against Lyon, good side, European Cup game. He's going to have to fuss bait, and I'm talking about from a fitness point of view. But hopefully he'll get through this game without an injury.
You have at least 3 players who knew very well top 14, Bismarck, Jacques and Morne. Was it important for you that they already know Lyon and French teams?
Exactly. So the first thing is that those 3 have played in France. So Morne, Bismarck and obviously, who's the third one? Oh, Jacques, yeah. But, I mean, a guy like Jacques van Rooyen, who plays prop, played at Bath. Dylan played in England as well. If I go through the other players that are there, a lot of them, some of them have played in Europe as well. They understand the intensity of European Cup rugby. But more importantly, like you say, I mean, 3 guys have played against Lyon in the French league as well, and they know what to expect from Lyon. So it'll be nice to get their experience to teach the youngsters about the, I suppose, the intensity of French teams. I mean, French teams play differently. The French top 14 is a different competition. And I'm glad that they can help the other guys just to understand what's coming.
Follow up? You good? Okay. You sorted? Sonny? All good, Cobus? Yeah. All right, cool. Hello, everybody online. Thank you so much for joining us. And maybe whilst we are still recording, Cobus, there is an embargo on this press conference that we are having that runs up until 2 o'clock. As per tournament regulations. So please could we all abide to that embargo. And just to give you a rundown in terms of the squad, we've got Dylan Smith, Bismarck du Plessis, Jacques van Rooyen, Jacques du Plessis, Reinhard Ludwig, Nizam Kar, Vijay Steenkamp, Mala Ace, Bernard van der Linde, Monestein, Stravino Jacobs, Marco Jansen van Vuren, Stedman Gans, Sbongile Novuga, Wandile Simelane in the starting 15. From the bench, Lizo Koboga, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Sebastian Lombard, Janko Swanepoel, Pumzile Maqondwana, Keegan Johannes, Chris Barent Smith, and Juan Mostert. Any questions?
Hi, sorry, Lunga. Just can you please mute everyone? We're getting sound from Newsroom Africa and it's kind of disturbing our recordings.
Okay.
Cool. Cool, Spusi. So everybody else is on mute. You can kick us off. Or would you guys like me to go through that lineup again?
Yes, please. I didn't hear a word.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. So the starting 15 is Dylan Smith, Bismarck du Plessis, Jacques van Rooyen, Jacques du Plessis, Reinhard Ludwig, Nizam Kar, Vijay Steenkamp, Miller Ace, Bernard van der Linde, Monestein, Stravino Jacobs, Marco Jansen, Van Vuren, Stedman Gans, Sbongile Novuga, Wandile Simelane. From the bench, Lizo Koboga, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Sebastian Lombard, Janko Swanepoel, Pumzile Maqondwana, Keegan Johannes, Chris Barent Smith, Juan Mostert. Sbu, you can kick us off online.
Great, thanks so much. Coach, that sounds like quite a heavily rotated team with quite a few changes. Can you give us some insight as to what was your thought process in selecting that team?
Yeah. So, Sabu, I said when this month started, I said in the press conferences we're going to have to be very clever about how we manage the players. And it's just, as I said, it's just turned out that this weekend, a couple of the guys from the Springboks came back, needed some time off. Some guys have worked really hard to get a game. And I just felt that it's a home game. It's a good opportunity for some boys who've pushed really hard to get a nice start. And the combination, as I put together, is, I said earlier to the media here, 3 Springboks, probably 5 guys, 6 guys who won a Currie Cup final. 2 guys played in a Super Rugby final 3 times. So there's enough experience there. Enough, I suppose, old wiser heads. If you look at the team, there's generally the average age of this team is quite high. It's not, even though there's 1 or 2 youngsters, the average age of this team is quite high, and that's why I think again I think it's a nice balanced group. So taking nothing away from Lyon, I know how strong top 14 rugby is. I know how strong European Cup rugby is. It's an opportunity, and I think we're going to have to be clever, not only in this game, next week, the following week, and it goes all the way through till the end of January before we get another break in the Six Nations.
Follow-up questions, Boo?
Yeah, a lot of teams have used this, to sort of put their Springboks in the window shop, and you've kind of reined yours back. Yeah. Are the guys not feeling like they're missing out on a historic first European clash? Some of them who are obviously of a higher caliber, who are Springboks in this weekend's fixture.
Yeah, interesting question, Sabu. I don't know. I think every guy in our squad appreciates that we do what's best for the team. It's not a question of, because it's the first European Cup game, everybody who's played and wants to play should just be given that chance. So, I didn't think of it like that. I've sat with a group from when I started here. We pick a team every week we think can win. We pick a team that we feel needs to get a chance. We do what's needed. I think that's important. We do what's needed for us as a group. And what we need now is not the emotional side of it's a European Cup game and some Springboks would like to play. A lot of boys have been working really hard and want to play as well, Sabu. So and I think one thing coaches can do is create hope. There's no use talking and saying you will get a chance, you will get a chance, you will get a chance, and you never pick the kid. So, it's I never thought of what you said to me, but I suppose the ethos of the group is we want to do what's best for the group, not for the player.
Thanks, Boo. Simon?
Simon? Have you muted him?
No, Simon is unmute, but We're not picking up any audio. Simon, we're not picking up any audio. Any other questions, Carl? Warren?
Can I squeeze in longer? Just
Yes,
to
go
fill in
for it, Sbu.
Coach, you're speaking about the emotion of it. I mean, this week has been all about emotion. With Spungosi's sort of battle, how have you tried to keep the focus on Lyon, and just your view on Spungossi needing a break and being grinded on by the CEO?
So Sabu, I mean, I know the boy very, very well. I mean, I was at the same school as him. I know his background. I know the old boys who got a hold of him to move him from Barberton to Jeppe. I've had long chats to him. I think what's important now is that he just gets given time to get himself right. And I think the more media and the more talk probably doesn't help him. And that's why I think Sabu, for me, I mean, even the players are letting him, obviously get himself sorted. It's not a nice place for a young guy to be in. And we're very conscious at the Bulls, saying we always do what's best for the team. We also have to appreciate that there's human element to it as well. So, I mean, I hope you understand me when I say team comes first, we do what's needed, but at the same time, we also appreciate that, some guys need their space. I think it's been an opportunity for me to readdress the importance of the things that can go wrong in sports people's lives. We take it for granted. Young boys earn a lot of money, play at the highest level. We think that because of that, they have everything together. Sports people are human. They also have problems. They also have things they got to deal with. They also have different backgrounds. Yeah, so I suppose what I'm saying, Sabu, we're very conscious of the fact he needs time, he needs space, he needs to get his life right, and we will help. The CEO said it. I'm saying it. Old boys of Jeppe have contacted me. Anybody who knows him is going to help him. So I'm sure in the next road to his development and to his to getting his life back on track, we'll do whatever we can to help him.
Cool. Thanks, Boo. James Petit, have you got a question?
James, you're right there? James, il est français. James Petit. Petit, Oh.
All right, cool. In the absence of further questions online, we all good? Spoo, no last questions? Cool.
At the risk of turning this into a one-on-one.
Cool.
Last question, Coach, from me. Wandisile Similane, again, a fullback, if I'm remembering the team correctly. Are you sticking to your plan for him? Is it bought into that plan in terms of playing a position he's obviously didn't play at the Lions? And are you interested to see how, the French can play tactically, well in terms of finding space behind the defense, to see how we will cope this weekend?
Yeah, Sabu. I mean, yes. So to answer your question, he's very happy. He understands the plan. I know he can play 13. Everyone knows he can play 13. We're probably lucky in that we've got lots of guys that are playing well at 13. I mean, if you look at Lionel Mapu, Cornel Hendricks, I mean, they can both play 13 as well. We know that Lekanya is the incumbent. Chances are very unlikely that someone's going to surpass him in the next year or two. So, I mean, Wandisile is playing there because I want him to develop his game, And you're right, the French teams can expose him like anyone can. But I can tell you if they kick poorly and he catches it, then they're going to have to defend because, he can turn something in from nothing. And a little bit like Kirtley, when he's got the ball in his hands and he's running towards you, he can obviously create magic. So he might make mistakes, Sabu. I'm sure that I'm sure that all players are, but not because he's not trying, not because he hasn't got an understanding. And as I said, I mean, I've not just him. David Creel can play 12, 13 wing. Cornel can play 12, 13 wing. Goosen can play 10, 12 fullback. The reality is the more guys I've got like that in my backline, that's the philosophy we want at the Bulls, the better it's going to be. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Wandi obviously just develop more and more in that position.
Cool. Thanks, guys, online. And once again, can I reiterate the embargo for 2 o'clock? Please, can we respect that, Coach? Shani would like to ask a question, but could you respond in
Sure, no
Afrikaans?
problem. No
Right.
problem.
Just
You got to speak Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Just please a rundown of your squad for
Yeah.
tomorrow's match, and just how important is another competition in terms of your ability to rotate your squad, and also does this feel like another competition for the players,
Yeah.
or is it just like?
Ja, it's important. Nou, so, okay, kom ek sê dit so, ons moes veranderings gemaak het. Die seisoen is maar lank. Hierdie volgende 6, 7, 8 weke is maar baie moeilik van 'n posisie waar ons dieselfde spelers elke week kan speel. Ek het nou vandag gehoor ook daar's 'n oefenkamp vir die Springbokke wat miskien einde Januarie begin van Feb gaan ook plaasvind. En dit sit druk ook op ons omdat ons gaan daai spelers verloor. Dit beteken ons moet spelers in daai posisies en ander posisies kry om seker te maak hulle kan diepte in ons squad kry. Ek het afgerig in die Champions Cup, ek het afgerig in die Challenge Cup ook en ek het afgerig in Frankryk waar Lyon vandaan kom. Ek is opgewonde. Ek dink wat belangrik is, die spelers sal môre sien wat is die verskil op hierdie vlak. Al is dit 'n Franse span, al is dit, 'n span wat ons nie ken nie. Ek dink hulle gaan môre voel presies hoe voel dit om in 'n ander kompetisie te speel. Van my kant af, dit gaan nie oor nog 'n kompetisie, dit gaan oor 'n geleentheid om ander spelers 'n kans te gee en diepte te kry. So ja, ek sien uit. Baie spelers het gewag vir hierdie geleentheid. Baie spelers is terug van beserings af. En ek sien uit om te sien. Ek dink, ons moet verstaan, dit gaan miskien moeilik wees om teen 'n span te speel sonder dat ons 'n game gespeel het saam by mekaar. Maar nogtans, ek dink daar's nog steeds 'n groot excitement in die groep in nie dat 'n nuwe kompetisie, nie dat dit 'n nuwe groep is nie, dis omdat hulle 'n geleentheid kry om te speel.
And just the importance of the players that you have selected, like the Springbok players and those you said that have had Currie Cup final experience.
Ja, so, hierdie squad is daar 3 Springbokke, een wat die Wêreldbeker gewen het, een wat die Britse Lions 2 keer gewen het, in 'n reeks. Nizam het oorsee gespeel, so hy ken mos van oorsee se rugby. So dis die 3 Springbokke, daar's omtrent 5 of 6, miskien 7 spelers wat die Currie-beker gewen het vir die Bulle. En dan is daar 2 spelers wat nie super eindstryd 3 keer gespeel het. Jacques van Rooyen en Dylan Smith 3 keer gespeel in die finaal van die Super Rugby. So ja, daar's 'n gemeng van ervaring, daar's 'n gemeng van jong spelers. En die jong spelers wat ons het baie goed gespeel op die ouderdomsgroepe. So Sebastian Lommert vaskop gewees vir onder 20s, SA onder 20s, Bernard van Linde goed gedoen in die juniors, goed gedoen in die Varsity Cup. So ja, ek dink die grootste uitdaging vir ons is hoe lank gaan dit vat om hulle, cohesive te kry, om vir hulle as 'n span te laat lyk. En dis die uitdaging, maar ek sien uit, as hulle deurkom, gaan die diepte in die Bulle baie sterker wees.
Cool. Happy.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you. Tu veux parler français?